Hey everyone, it's Antonio Pazoulis here. I'm a DOP based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I usually do YouTube videos where I do crazy rants about camera gear. But today I think I'm going to switch things up a bit and try something new. Now, I'm not going to be stopping these rants. That's not to say that those videos aren't going to keep coming down the line, but I feel like a bit back and forth from, ranting about something that's destroying my brains, like the new FX2 that's been released by Sony, which will be a future video. I think it's nice to have some actual sit down quiet talk sometimes. Something that can maybe help you with your own lighting setups on your own shoots, or at the very least, be a sort of ASMR for you to go to sleep to, if I bore you that badly. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So, I have my laptop open here, and we're basically looking at some shots from a short film I just finished shooting with some buddies, and the film went really well. We had one day to shoot the entire thing, and believe it or not, because we didn't have a location, this is super low budget, essentially no budget. You'll see in some of the behind the scenes footage coming up. We shot this whole thing right behind me, baby. Right there, right there on this white wall. And the power of movie making and movie magic, you can make a lot of crazy things. If you use your mind, you're open to trying basically anything around the sun, and don't judge the way it looks to the eye, because a lot of film sets you're going to walk on are going to look messy. They're going to look messy, and you're going to be it's going to be clustered, and you're going to be thinking to yourself, how is this going to look good on camera? I don't understand. Trust the process. Trust the process, because we all know that we know nothing, and we're faking it till we make it anyways. So come along with the journey. So let's look at this first shot here. Beautiful setup. We have a close-up of a heroin needle that seems to be loaded with red heroin. So as you can see here, we have a pretty simple setup. We'll scroll through just so you can get an overview of it all, and we can break it down. So this setup was very simple and very fast. I had my gaffer, Nathan Gray, come on board. He's my gaffer on everything. Love the guy, really close friend. And he basically went through some tests with me, and we decided to land on a floor plan of sorts, as you can see here. And the floor plan was basically over here. You could see, pardon me, I don't know how to use a drawing tool on pages. So you're just going to have to follow my mouse and trust me. So over here is the couch and the subject on the couch, and the Pocket 4K over here, which is the camera we shoot on. It's the camera I'm using right now. That's my daily driver, and it's been my daily driver forever. I honestly don't think I need a better one. Unless I get paid a pretty penny to bring an ARRI. So the Pocket 4K right there. Everyone knows I love Blackmagic. Say what you will. Look at the image. Look for yourself. Like, I did this with really cheap lighting, and we'll talk about it. And it looks fantastic for my standards. So Blackmagic here. And what do? We put our key light over on the opposite side, just like I have right now. And it is set up sort of on a 45-degree angle to give us a bit of that, like you can see right here, for instance, this trickling into shadow, and you get that Rembrandt because we're film snuffs and we're lighters and filmers, and we want that Rembrandt lighting for some reason. We love it. Can't get enough of it. It really is a shape thing, right? You don't want just split lighting completely. It doesn't look that natural unless you're going for it stylistically. You want a bit of Rembrandt right there, and then it goes into darkness, and then you get the hair light. Same thing I'm doing here right now. That lamp is on a dimmer, the 1K dimmer that I made, and it's on the lowest setting that it can go, though it's still hot, which whatever. And what's hitting me right now is not the lamp, because it's not strong enough to hit me. I've got a Forza behind me, angled right at me with a soft diffusion on it on a really low setting to match the Kelvin. It's giving me that same thing you're seeing here, minus the hair light. So you're getting the Rembrandt lighting, goes into darkness, not complete darkness, but very close to it. And in color grading, you could make it complete shadow if you wanted to. Back to the overview. We have the key light, which is the Amaran 60X, the Lightstorm 60X, with a softbox on it, and it's double diffused softbox, and it's got an egg crate. It's got a egg crate on it, and that's causing us even more diffusion and controlling the spill, which is really important to me, because as a person working in a really small room with a lot of white walls, as you can see, you basically want to control the spill as much as possible, because the whole room is a giant bounce. It's a giant bounce. We hate that. We hate that. We like it for night scenes. We like it for, we're walking in the dark, but that's not what this is. So we got the 60X right there, and over here, the TV light. This is where you're going to see a bit of a differ from what was on the floor plan and what we actually did. And sometimes you're going to find that happens because of limitations of the location. If you messed up in the tech scout, which you shouldn't, but or something's malfunctioning. Usually the big thing is gear's malfunctioning. We need to figure out a solution here. We're going to get to the bottom of this somehow. We're problem solvers, filmmakers. That's what we do. We're problem solvers. So the MC Pro was supposed to be brought by one of our crew members, because I don't own one, because it's small and it's not flashy, and I like big flashy lights. So would have proven very useful. This is the TV light. The TV light is crucial. The whole scene, he's watching TV. But one thing I see a lot of short films doing, which I'm not a fan of, is the TV light is a very bright fixture, and it's strobing, and it's washing out your entire light setup. Now, if you want that, go for it. I think it really works when you're trying to portray somebody watching TV and all the lights are off in the dark late at night. But if that's not what it is, if you have any type of light coming from the room, you spend all that time, don't wash it out. So the MC Pro was the solution. Very low output. The MC Pro, if you don't know, is a tiny little LED panel about this size that Aputure sells. It has a bunch of different effects on it. You could put a TV strobe effect, throw it on the TV. The issue was it wasn't brought to set. So what we had to do instead was, and I'll show you in the BTS. Boom, that's the BTS right here. We had to put the Forza 60C in the back corner. Actor sitting here, remember. Forza's in the top corner. It is super high in the air, tilted down. It's got its reflector dish on there. Sorry, it's the modifier that it comes with, the 45-degree intensifier. We have it on there. Still had too much punch, so we put an ND gel on top of it. I, for the life of me, can't tell you how many stops that ND gel was, because we found it in scraps in an expendables bin. So, but we put that on, and then on top of it, to lower the output, we bounced it on this giant white magic cloth type, not magic cloth, just like a regular bounce. It's one of those bounce boards that you bring on photography shoots outside, but it's a huge one. It's a big boy. And we bounced it off of that so that it would be even less output and hit the face of the actor so soft, so subtly, that the only side that you'd really be seeing it on is the blacked out side. It'd be like flickering. And the background was very obvious that there was like a TV effect going. So that's what I wanted. I wanted to maintain the integrity of the lighting setup that we had whilst tickling you with the television. I hate that I chose that word as the description. So moving past that, let's get back to the overview. So we ixnayed the MC Pro because crew guys are forgetful. They're usually hungover even. So we got rid of that. And what else did we do here? In the back here, right next to it down the hallway, we have a practical standing lamp that is in none of the footage that I'm about to show you, unfortunately. But it's that one right there. That's the one we used. And we had it in the background just for some motivated lighting all the way down. You know, it says it's here, but we had it all the way down here on the day of. Just looked more natural. And right next to it is the Forza, which is no longer the Forza. This became the Amaran 200XS, which I love that light. Very strong light, very strong output. But that being the case, it was the lowest grade CRI light that we had. It's the lowest of the quality. So I didn't want to use it to try and produce skin tones, because that tends to be the hardest thing to produce. What I did use it as was I put it over here, I angled it straight up to the ceiling, and I put it on 1%, 1% power. That's it. And it lit up the entire background. And I believe we put it on a cooler setting, more closer to daylight. Terrible DOP. I don't remember exactly what the daylight setting was probably around 4,500 Kelvin, maybe even a little bit higher, less daylight balanced, a little bit more blue to it. And that was used to light the background, but just enough that you could see some details. What it was really for was lifting the shadows in the entire room and in a bit of the negative that we used on the actor. Speaking of negative fill, we shot this during the daytime. Giant window over there. Very difficult to do, right? Very difficult to do. No, it's not. Everybody knows the old film school trick. Throw some garbage bags up there. Don't cut the garbage bags and fold them. Keep them double layered, because you're a film student and you're probably using the cheap stuff. But if you got some Husky bags, you know, some contractor grade garbage bags, you could probably cut those in half. It's no problem. So set that came in early, and they helped out. Let's go back to the BTS photo. We put up 3 posters. Lackluster, right? It does not look, am I in focus? It does not look like it did a lot, but it did. It did a lot. That's all we needed, because the director and I sat down and did some previs. We created a tech package. We created a mood board, and he said, I only want mainly close-ups for this shoot. I want to avoid wides as much as possible. Quick, short, 3 minutes tops. Didn't want that. It's his call. We ended up getting one that was slightly wider, like maybe just more open than a medium close-up. Not really a medium wide. In between, kind of. But they not only did they dress this all, but you can't see here, the windows are all blacked out. So they came early to help out with that. And that's why we have negative fill over here. Technically, it's blackout material. So I have to correct myself on that one. So as you can see down here, we had more negative fill. That you might be able to see in the behind the scenes shot. You could kind of see it. It's right over here. It's this 1750 stand with a boom arm stretching out and black material draped on top of it with some pony clamps, just to kind of help preserve the darkness on the actor's face. Like I said, we're shooting a room with all white. We got some bounce happening everywhere. Want to be able to control that as much as possible. And that's what we went for. It ended up working pretty well. Last thing you'll see, this is the Forza. I showed that to you. Pretty tough spot to put it in, right? Pretty tough spot, because the actor is right there. What did we do? What do you see? No problems, only solutions. That's one of my film professors used to say that to us. And we tilted it down so that you wouldn't be able to see the actual light bleeding into the camera, especially because we were using a ProMist filter. The ProMist filter kind of helps diffuse the lighting, helping it bloom a little bit more. And we really wanted that look because it gave a bit of a smudgy kind of feeling. Another big thing that we liked about it was we didn't have access to a haze machine, because they're expensive, and to rent one is a little bit ridiculous for a shoot like this. So we really tried our best to find some solutions. They have those atmosphere sprays. Couldn't get it in time. Throw on the ProMist filter and embrace the bloom that you get from practical lighting. But the problem with that is, especially because we didn't use a matte box, because I'm lazy. No, because we already set up the camera rig and it was such an easy shoot. We didn't want to go through the process of bringing out the old matte box for that. We wanted to keep it low key for the actor because it was a very demanding performance. So let's come back up here. We've talked about where the lights all ended up, where they landed, and what we achieved. So let's look at what it did to the image here. We had the key light, the 60X, giving us this shape. We shot on the short side, which is basically the shadow side, the opposite of the key light, so that you get this nice little bleed into darkness. And that causes shape, that causes interest. And if you're here and you're an experienced DOP, you know that it's a staple of cinematography to do that whenever you get the chance. And, you know, you can see their shadows. The wrinkle in the legs got some shadows. You know, the dark side of the hand. Even in a slight small way, the needle has a bit of an outline. And that's nice because it's black in the background here. So you really need that to preserve the shape and the integrity of the object. So come down here. Love this shot. Love this shot. This is directly pulled from a reference photo that the director gave me. He said, I want to get a shot like this. And I'm like, for sure we can do that. We're going to do our best to make it happen for you. And as you can see in the background, that's the 200XS angled up at the ceiling at 1%. That's 1%. That is giving us enough lift on the shadows so that we're not pure black and that there are some outlines. There's a wall there. There's probably a door over there. It just gives us an idea that it's not an empty black room. There's so much more shape and depth there. That's what we're trying to get. And I really like that. See, and also it's a little bit more daylight in the background. Purposefully done. It was a little bit more daylight, enough that we can get a color separation, and we played around with the tint, and we got a bit of a green undertone to it. Not overkill, because we left that up to the colorist, and the colorist delivered. The colorist was me. And as you can see, the last thing I did, added the tiniest catch light in the eye, just enough to know that it's there, and that also helped with the glistening tear a little bit, which is hidden in a shadow, but starting to hit the Rembrandt lighting, so it's not the end of the world. Come over here, very different lighting now. Ooh, very different. Ooh, very different lighting. What did we do different here? Well, he just didn't slouch. He was upright in this particular moment, and we switched focal lengths on the lens. We went from I believe it was like a 50 mil or 70 mil to a 24 mil. And we brought it right up in his face. Right up in his face. And that's because he took some drugs at this point, and it really added to the tripped out feeling that you get. You know, when you're watching a dorm movie, like a coming of age movie or a party movie, and you know the guy's tripping out and they have like the camera on him and it's like right in his face and it's like almost fisheye. It gives you that trippy effect, like you're experiencing the trip, like you're experiencing that trip with him. This is the same effect we tried to get here. And as you can see, the lighting's still the same. Key light over here, Rembrandt lighting, though it's a little bit more dim on this one. Forgivable, because the continuity is telling us if he moved a little bit, like it turned his head like this. Yeah, okay, look. Oh, look at that. Rembrandt's not as strong. Rembrandt's coming in strong. Now it's not coming in strong. It's gone. So sometimes that happens. It's not the craziest thing in the world. We preserved it still a little bit of Rembrandt. And on the side here, we have a bit of light, the smallest amount. That was accidental, but I like it because he didn't just disappear into darkness. And behind him, we get the wall. Speaking of disappearing into darkness, we didn't do that. We gave him darkness there. Therefore, we didn't really need to add a hair light. Because you see the entire shape of him. Could have added a hair light. Wouldn't have felt natural to me, though. Never established what's on that side, because what's on that side is what you're looking behind me. It is not ideal for filmmaking. As you come over here, you see the outline of a table. Very nice. Bit of light over here. You could see that there's stuff on there, a poster. That's a white wall, and there's nothing that lives there usually. If that stuff was not dressed in at my recommendation, tooting my own horn because I love doing that, it would have looked like shit. And look at this. You get a bit of that green undertone. So you can see we're going for greens and like yellowish. And we're adding, it's like a grimy sort of feel to it. That was purely intentional, and I love it. Another difference here, catch light. The catch light, which is an eye light, gone. Why did we do that, you may ask? Well, like I said, he's tripping balls in this scene. And what do I see here? Flying saucers as pupils. And what is more of a telltale sign that you're on a crazy drug than dilated pupils? So instead of doing a catch light in this moment, I decided, because you have enough light from the ambient lighting and the key light, you get the retina, you get the pupil, you get the whites in the eyes, you get every detail about the eye that you need to put together that he is tripping. And I felt like a catch light would have ruined that effect. It's one of those instances where you can justify not using a catch light. Think about the Pink Floyd song. Now there's a look in your eye like black holes in the sky. That's what I wanted to emulate here. Black holes in the sky. Catch light would have added too much life. He's dead. But you come back here. Now this happens before the trip, though I've put it after in the series of images I'm showing you. Catch light there. Catch light not so much in the dark eye. The day of, I asked the director, do we want to put a catch light there? And he said, you know what? Nah. It's a quick shot, and I feel like it'd be unnatural if this is dark and this isn't. In hindsight, I agreed I shouldn't have, because the TV's playing in front of him the whole time. We probably should have had the TV add a catch light to his eye itself, but we didn't. You're going to mess up sometimes. And sometimes shots won't make the cut because of it. So really do your previs and really think about everything. You know, the catch light from the TV, that's like one of the last things you think about. And again, colors on the side, Pink Floyd poster, rainbow, crazy, and then, you know, the context of the wall color. So it really, really works. And we've got that Rembrandt lighting. It's pretty much back where it needs to be with that teardrop close up. And, you know, very pretty. As you could see too, a little bit of noise here, right? A little bit of noise. Got a bit of grain going on. The grain is something that I wanted to do badly because I shoot on Blackmagic, so there's no avoiding it. So you might as well lean into it. And we leaned into it hard. We shot at ISO 1250. If you shoot with the Pocket 4K or other Blackmagics for that matter, I'm assuming you know that ISO 1250, for some reason, that native ISO, it changes the entire look of the camera. It is my favorite look. I swear by it. I only shoot 1250 ISO. I'll shoot ISO 400 or usually 100 in other scenarios, daylight usually. In fact, I'll only shoot ISO 100 during the day because that's super clean. ISO 400 sometimes gives weird noise that moves, not fractal. Fractal's not the type of noise, but it's linear. It goes like this, and it goes up and down the screen. It's super distracting. It's ugly. So ISO 100, that way you get no noise. Or if I have to shoot in a really low light scenario. Like now, we're shooting in ISO 1250, and that seems high, but in DaVinci, very quick to denoise that. In this specific shoot, as you can see, we chose not to denoise it because it is a very grainy digital, like old school digital look. Could even be filmic, some might say. To me, it looks more like the noise that you saw in Collateral, which is fantastic. Comparing your film to Collateral, come on. So I like the way it turned out, and we were both in agreement that that was the appropriate amount of noise, and we weren't going to do any other work in post regarding that. Save some computer power. Look at this. Look at this. It doesn't take much to get an image like this. And am I going to sit here and say and toot my own horn and go, that's the most beautiful image I've ever seen? No, I'm not going to say that, because it's not. You can always do better. But if you can get it to look this cool, this much character, and all you needed was one key light, some sort of TV special effect light. You know, the light in the background is a 200 XS. You could even use a lamp for that light and check if it flickers on your camera. Record your camera looking at that lamp for a few seconds. Watch it on your computer, see if it flickers. And if it doesn't, most incandescent light bulbs don't do that. Then you can have your backlight be anything, just to raise the shadows. And then what did we do over here? We took away some of the light. We bounced some of the light and we took away some of the light. Super simple setup. Super simple setup that you can do at home. All it took was 3 lights. Each light was under $1,000 Canadian. So that's pretty impressive. The bounce board that I got is a newer bounce board. It's like 5 feet by 4 feet. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's like 6 feet by 3 feet. It's huge, but that thing was like $80 Canadian. You can get that online. I use it for so many things. It's got the reflectors in gold, silver. It's got a diffusion. It's got a blackout, so you could use it as a black flag. The possibilities, they're endless. The softbox is a newer softbox. Newer. It was like $150. $150 done. The light stands, I got them from a few different places. They're the cheapest light stands you can get. You can get ones exactly like this for $70 each Canadian. This blackout material was a 4x4 blanket from the dollar store. I've used it on so many shoots, and for negative fill, especially for those close-ups, it's a really nice addition. It's a really nice bonus to have. Very easy to do, you know? And the Pocket 4K, we'll talk about the Pocket 4K last. We didn't do much with the Pocket 4K, right? The Pocket 4K had a quarter Pro Mist filter on it, like I said, to help bloom everything. Gives it a bit of a softer look overall, which is where you get this nice little, there's this like softness to it. It's not as digital as the Blackmagic, sharp as the Blackmagic usually is, and that was a really good look, and we like that, so we got it. And then I used a variable ND filter on there, because when I shoot at ISO 1250, which is very powerful ISO, sometimes you got to use the variable ND to stop down a little bit so that you're exposed the way that you want, whilst not having to change the ISO or the aperture. You've locked those into the settings that you want for your scene. You don't have to compromise that because exposure is not exactly where you want. The other option is you could switch the lighting and reduce the intensity of the lighting. But if you've got a variable ND, which is just you twist it and it changes exposure, it was just easier to do that. I always have it on my camera. It just makes life so much easier, especially because our gaffer had to leave through the shoot, and I ended up, along with the art director, becoming the gaffer. it just saves us time. And these are the things that you want on set. The things that you want on set are the things that are going to save you time, make your job easier. Those are the tools you got to invest in. Don't invest in the fancy light. You know, the new Storm 1000C. Get a couple of smaller lights with smaller output, because chances are, if you're starting out, you're not shooting in big spaces. You're shooting in your buddy's apartment. And these lights are more than powerful enough. The one I'm using for my key light right now is on like 60% brightness, and it's shooting through two fabrics of diffusion and a grid, and it's still illuminating me the way that it needs to. So just like believe in it. Unless you're putting a light through the window and you're fighting the sun, these cob lights that at 60, at 200 watts, more than enough. Look at this. The proof's in the pudding, guys. The proof is in the pudding. Yes, this is a darker film. It's not as bright as what other people may do in a daytime setting, but it is moody. It has got character, and man, we did it for next to nothing. So this is my video for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you guys want to see more lighting breakdowns like this, let me know. If you want me to go back to the ranting, then I'll do that too. Really, I'm making these videos for fun, but I kind of want you guys to have fun too, because if I'm the only one having fun in the room, and that's just awkward. That's just gross. You know, I don't want to be self-gratifying. I would like to collectively gratify. And my phrasing is filthy, though it doesn't mean to be, so I apologize for that. Anyway, I've been Antonio Pizzulis. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you had fun and enjoyed, and maybe you learned something, or you just got curious to see how a lighting breakdown could go on my channel, see what I'm capable of. Haven't posted in a while, and I will eradicate that. I was just busy on a show that just ended, so I've got a bit of free time coming up. So more YouTube videos coming your way. You're welcome. You're welcome.